Have you ever finished an essay, read it back, and just felt like it could sound, well, a little more professional, a bit more authoritative? If that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to level up your academic vocabulary.
So let me just ask you straight up, does your writing sound as smart as your ideas actually are? It's a super common issue, you know? You have these brilliant concepts, but they get held back by language that feels a little too casual. But hey, don't worry. This is a totally fixable problem.
And you know what? The culprits are usually just 5 simple, everyday words that have a sneaky way of getting into our drafts. So today, we're going to pinpoint them, and then we're going to swap them out for some much more powerful alternatives. Let's do this. I like to call this the casual word trap. These are the words we use all the time when we're talking, right? But when they show up in academic writing, they can make our arguments feel kind of informal, a little imprecise, and just less convincing. The secret is to trade them in for words that have a bit more weight and specificity. Okay, first on our hit list is the phrase a lot of. We all use it, I use it, but in an academic paper, it's one of the biggest red flags for casual writing. So let's break down why that is, and more importantly, what we can do about it.
So what's the real problem with a lot of? Well, it's just so vague. I mean, how much is a lot? It doesn't really paint a clear picture for your reader, does it? And academic writing, it absolutely thrives on precision. We need language that's way more specific.
Luckily, you've got this whole toolkit of powerful alternatives. Instead of a lot of, you can try many or numerous. Or if you really want to step it up, use descriptive phrases like a significant number of or a substantial body of. These just instantly make your writing sound more sophisticated. Just listen to the difference here. A lot of students use social media. It sounds like something you'd say in a conversation, but a significant number of students use social media. Wow, that sounds like a statement that's backed up by actual data and research. It's a tiny change that has a huge impact. Let's look at one more. A lot of research shows this effect. It's fine, but a considerable amount of research demonstrates this effect. That is so much stronger. It implies this large, serious body of work, and it adds so much more authority to your claim.
Okay, next up we've got a 2-for-1, kids and get. Kids is just a little too informal for most academic topics, and get is way too general. Both of these can really weaken your writing.
Yeah, the word kids is perfect for the playground, but it's not quite right for a research paper. Instead, you want to choose a term that's more specific to who you're actually talking about. Is it children, adolescents, young people? Each of those words carries a much more precise and formal meaning.
Kids are affected by technology is a really broad statement, but changing it to adolescents are affected by technology, boom, it immediately narrows the focus and gives your sentence a more scientific, academic tone.
And now for get. The issue here is pure vagueness. What does get even mean? Does it mean to receive something, to become something, to obtain something? Using a more active and precise verb just makes your writing so much clearer and more dynamic. And look at all these great options you have.
Students get stressed. It feels kind of passive, right? But students experience stress, now that's active and descriptive. It turns a simple statement into a more formal observation. Oh, and swapping exams for examinations, that's another great little upgrade you can make. All right, our final pair of words to upgrade are big and things. And let's be honest, both of them are just way too vague for the kind of precision we need in academic work.
I mean, how big is big? It's totally subjective and doesn't carry much weight. What you want are adjectives that communicate scale and importance with way more authority. Words like significant, substantial, or major are just so much more powerful.
Think about it. This has a big effect doesn't really tell us a lot, but saying it has a substantial effect or a considerable impact, that immediately gives your reader a sense of the magnitude and the importance. It's all about adding weight to your words.
And last but not least, the word things. This might be one of the most non-specific words you can possibly use. In academic writing, we have to name what those things are. Are they factors, aspects, elements, variables? Being specific is everything.
Many things affect mental health. That's a pretty weak opening to a sentence. But compare that to many factors affect mental health, or multiple variables influence mental health outcomes. See? That just sets a clear analytical tone right from the get-go.
Okay, so we've replaced 5 common words. That's awesome. But the real goal here is to make this whole process feel automatic, right? So how do you learn this new vocabulary naturally, without just memorizing a bunch of lists? The secret, my friend, is in how you read. Honestly, the most effective way to do this is through active reading. When you're reading academic papers or textbooks in your field, don't just read for the information. Pay close attention to the language itself. Notice the words the authors are choosing. See how they're putting their sentences together, and just try to absorb that formal, analytical tone. It's kind of like you're developing an instinct for it.
Now, let's take all this theory and turn it into practice. Here is a super simple, actionable plan that you can literally start using today.
Here's the game plan. First, go through your own writing and be a detective. Hunt for those casual words. Second, swap them out with some of the awesome alternatives we've talked about. Third, and this is important, practice using these new words by writing your own sentences. And fourth, make reading academic stuff a regular habit. It's this amazing cycle of learning and then immediately applying what you've learned.
And remember, it might feel a little clunky or mechanical at first. That's totally normal. But with consistent practice and just exposing yourself to this kind of language, this new academic vocabulary will start to feel completely natural. It'll just become your own voice.
So, as you sit down to write your next assignment, I have a question for you. What's the first casual word you're going to hunt down and upgrade? Because making that first small change, that's the beginning of a massive improvement in your writing.